All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sphons CCW Live Show, brought to you by Sphons CCW, This and That Distribution, Minerva Sportsmans Club. What do we got going on tonight? We got some upcoming classes. 216, did that one fill up?
Yes.
So 216's full. 328, we got slots in it. I think Ryan said that he wanted to do a, was it 3-7 class?
Yeah, we'll put one on the 7th.
Okay, so we got a class edition for 3-7 if you want to get signed up for that one. February 22nd, 23rd, we got defensive pistol coming up. We got some slots open in that one, so if you're wanting to do that, get signed up. You'll need some equipment. Head over to our website and check out the equipment requirements. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask. 516, 517, we got a pistol instructor class coming up. So if you want to do some teaching of your own, then get signed up for that one. 711, personal protection in the home. If you want to do a little bit more advanced concealed carry type stuff, you can use that to qualify for your concealed carry course. If you want to do the instructor portion, then you'll have to stay for the 712 class also, and that will get you into the road for some defensive pistol instruction type stuff.
Pistol.
Yes. You must have your pistol instructor rating before you do personal protection in the home if you're interested. Yeah, we're going to do a VIT for personal protection in the home instructor that night also. Shooting events, King of the Clays is coming up tomorrow night. 6, 7? 7
we'll
p.m.
Be there about 6 o'clock or a little shortly there.
And then March 1st, we got a Circle X shoot. So got some events coming up down to the club. Should be a lot of fun. Tonight, we have Tom Indorf from the Save 22 organization. He's got some stuff he wants to tell you about, and he's got some cool events coming up. As always, guys, if you can support the Save 22 organization, absolutely do so. I'm going to put a link over to their stuff in the comments. And I will edit the video so that you got a link over to their website right in the video description. So yeah, Tom, let's what do you got? Let's tell us about what you're up to.
Starting tomorrow, we have a veterans fitness class in Minerva at ballroom. Veterans and their spouses. It's adapted fitness and yoga. So if you have back problems like me, go in there and they'll adapt it to, where you use a chair to learn how to stretch and fitness and so on like that. It starts at 9 a.m. I won't be there, but if you're going to be there, show up at 9 o'clock. It's free. Save 22 is paying for this program for the veterans and their spouses. Try to get veterans and spouses together, or just go by yourself and enjoy a free yoga class. Coming up on February 22nd, I'm doing a 22-hour marathon where I'm going to sit at the square in Carrollton, and once every hour I am going to do either a veteran story or I'm going to read off 22 names of veterans who committed suicide within that 22 hours, and I'm going to do some hike announcements and t-shirt releases for Save 22. That'll be on the 22nd and at 10 o'clock for 2,200 hours. We're going to do a candlelight vigil right there at the flagpole on the square in Carrollton. And then getting to the hike weekend, May 1st, we're going to have a concert by Sailor Jerry at Bluebird Farms. That'll start at 7 o'clock. The gates will open at 5. And then Saturday morning will be our hike, 5-mile hike. Registration will start at 7 a.m. We'll do opening ceremonies at 9 and step off at 10, and that's at the Carroll County Vets Club. And then Sunday the 4th, or the 3rd, sorry, we're going to be doing a car show out there, and registration will start at noon, and it'll go till awards will be at 3:30, and it'll end at 4. We'll have a DJ, door prizes, all kinds of things out there. So that's our upcoming events as of now.
Sweet. What date was the car show? I missed that date.
That would have been, it'd be the 3rd, May 3rd. May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd is all 3 events.
You gotta be pretty excited for this one, huh, Tom?
Yeah, and we're looking for sponsors. So anybody out there that wants to sponsor something, we're looking for sponsors for that weekend.
Awesome.
We're
in on that. We'll figure something out.
I know you guys have been pretty good supporters of us, and we appreciate it. It's nice to know that the local businesses will support the local charities. I know that Hogs Helping Heroes out of Minerva, they're going to do another poker run on June 27th.
June 27th.
They're at Sandy Springs Brewery. I don't know if you've seen last year's lineup they had out there. They had over 150 bikes or something like that through the street of Minerva.
Yeah, it was pretty hard to miss. Being our location, it was
pretty hard to miss downtown here.
Pretty much shut down our front doors for a few hours there.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, but there was a lot of cool bikes, and it's they do a lot of good. So kudos, and we're always happy to help out you guys. Save 22. See what we can do if we can help out some Hogs Helping Heroes. Maybe we'll get a t-shirt drive, or I don't know. Maybe we'll sell barbecue sauce. We'll put Ryan in a skirt, sell barbecue sauce. What do you think?
Oh, we're gonna lose money on that.
Yeah, for people who don't know, I make barbecue sauce that I have taken to Memphis, which is the World Championships in May. I placed top 10 with all 3, or at least top 20 with all 4 of my sauces.
Really?
I only have 3 in production right now. As you know, starting up a business can be kind of financially taxing. So
Yes.
Yep.
It's been a rough go with the barbecue sauce.
Yep. Yeah, it's tough getting a small business going. It taxes finances, taxes home life, taxes time, taxes pretty much everything of your being. But if it goes, it's totally worth it. It really is. All right, so Tom from the Save 22 organization, help him out if you can. Can't say enough about these guys. They do a ton of good. One question for you, Tom. When we talk about the Save 22 organization, what kind of stuff do you guys do with the veterans? I know you got all these events going out. Tell us about some of the stuff that you might do that somebody might not know about. And I'm not asking for top secret stuff, but something fun that you guys would do.
Well, I mentioned one of our programs that starts tomorrow with the veteran fitness and yoga. We have actually 2 of those classes, one in Dover and the one starting in Minerva. We also take veterans fishing. We take them not only fishing here, but in South Carolina, because we have a chapter in South Carolina now. So we take them up to Lake Erie and put them on a charter, go catch some walleye. We take about 6 veterans at a time. We also we're connected through Mark Harmon Racing, Veteran Motorsports. So we get veterans to the racetrack. We get them in the pit crew. We get them in the pit for that day. We get them to their drag race. So we're connected through the motorsports world where we can get them out doing something together. We also have we're working on equine therapy and golf therapy, which Dan Stansberry from the Stansberry Show takes them golfing. Get around to golf with him and some lunch and things like that. And we also started just now a veterans lunch at Rooster's Bar and Grill has stepped up, and all these programs, all the money that we raise goes to these programs so that we can get these veterans together and start thinking the right way again. Because once you put a group of veterans together, it's a different mindset. They feel at ease, because I could go to a civilian, and talk about my problems, but they're not going to understand the same way as another veteran's going to understand.
Sure.
So we try to get them together. And you should see the difference between the car ride up to Lake Erie the car ride back. I think these guys have known each other for 30, 40 years by the time they get off the boat, and it's a whole different demeanor at the end of the day. Even golfing, you can tell the difference right off from the first tee to the last tee. It makes a huge difference.
Awesome. That's good stuff.
Awesome.
Thanks for doing all that for them.
And these are programs that we decided, because we have the saying, if you're going to talk about it, be about it. And I watch a lot of these other organizations aren't as about it as like we are. I mean, we're going to post that we're doing this because we want people to see that their money's.
Wow, we got double phones ringing here. Sorry about that, guys. Let me see if I can get that shut off here. All right, now we're back.
Yeah, people don't realize one fishing trip to Lake Erie costs us $1,000 right off the bat. So I mean, if we take 6 trips, it's $6,000 a year. So every dime that we get is allotted to these programs, budgeted. Every NASCAR event is, I want to say $1,500 because they're not charging us, but we're making a donation to the team because like Mark Harmon Racing is a small team of Veterans Motorsports. So they're running a car that's 3 or 4 years old converts the people's new cars. So to get a sponsor, we add that money to there, so they keep inviting us back and bringing us back to each track. I can't remember right now the name of the drag racer, but they're letting us come into the Formula One drag races and help out, or just be there in the pits and push the car to the line. So I mean, this is good stuff for the veterans.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun for anybody.
And we always have a Safe 22 representative with them at these programs. I'll take the veterans fishing. We get a car from Trushone Ford in Waynesburg donates a car for us to drive up to take them up, and then and then I drive them up, and if there's an empty spot on that boat, I'll go along with them. And I don't really fish myself. I've been on enough trips where I can help the captain out and pass a pole back here or there. Every once in a while I have to reel one in, but then we eat lunch afterwards, right there. What we just caught, we get to eat right there. I mean, it's a good time.
Yeah, that sounds like an awesome time. Absolutely. All right, so we're going to move on to a carry tip. And I try and pair these things up with the defensive video that we got tonight. What we want to talk about is expiring cover. We think about cover as something that we can hide behind to protect ourselves, but what happens when we've formulated a plan and we move to our cover, and by the time we get to our cover, it's not a good spot for cover, or the threat has moved, the individuals have moved, maybe somebody else has taken that covered position, out from underneath of you. So what we got to understand is, keep your head up, see, what the things are around you, see if it's going to work. If you've come up with a plan, whether it be a parking lot situation or the home or, car wash or something like that, they change. They change. They're fluid. They're dynamic. Things can go sideways in seconds. So you got to keep your head up. You got to keep it moving. You got to constantly think about, if this happens, what do I do next? If this happens, what do I do next? So if you're heading for a car, if you're heading for a tree, if you're heading for something that will stop incoming rounds or is going to put time and distance between you and somebody who intends to do you or your family harm, they're not always going to react the way that you think they should, or maybe that you plan that they are going to. So if you're heading for a concrete buttress or wall or something like that because there's an individual around that's causing a ruckus. Maybe there's a fight, something like that, and that fight ends up in your space. You're going to have to quickly change that plan and find another piece of cover or concealment to deal with whatever it is in front of you. And you have to be flexible in that. You have to be able to think on your feet to do that.
Yeah, you kind of want to, as you're looking, towards that first piece of cover, start, head on a swivel, keep looking around and looking for that second piece of cover, because, like he said, that person is trying to do you harm or whatever, you're trying to get away from them or something like that. They may come around that, and you could also get forced out of that cover too. There's so many different things that could happen. So if you can move, maybe you can move to this piece of cover and get you out of their sight line on your way to getting to a really good piece of cover that is going to just completely stop everything. Maybe your first initial piece of cover is that, hiding behind the engine block of the car, which is kind of cover, but could not be.
Yeah, depending upon where it's
Where, that's just kind of your interim, that's your first movement so that you're not just running across a wide open parking lot, getting to, a tall concrete wall, where that's where you would, really intend to want to go.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, you could also have a second threat show up that you didn't see. Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
Compromises
And
that.
if a second threat shows up,
Sure.
on the,
So we just got a message. Our show's paused on Facebook, so we're gonna take a look here and find out what's going on. We are still broadcasting, so
I think it's just slow to buffer through Facebook's.
might
Yeah,
be slow.
It's probably
We're good
Zuckerberg
on,
trying to shut it down.
We're good on YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Facebook. It's out though.
really.
Yep.
We still have it on this end.
Nope, I don't have anything on Facebook.
I can't help you. I'm not looking at either.
Well, I guess we continue with the show, and
Can I add something to you guys moving towards cover?
Yep.
yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
There's something we used in the Marine Corps. It was called "I'm up, they see me, I'm down, knees, hand prone, high crawl." It's a good thing to think about, because if by the time you say that, that's about as much time as you have before you're getting fired upon. So,
Yep. Yeah, that's.
I mean, if you're moving towards the target or the threat, if you're moving towards cover, it's a great way to think about it. If you're running away, they just run away. But I'm up, they see me, I'm down, knees, hands, prone, high crawl.
Yeah. Get out of there as fast as possible.
It's just kind of something that was instilled in us, is when you're running towards cover, towards your threat, was to use that, because that would give you the timing that you have to possibly stay alive.
Yeah. Well, we are still live on Facebook, so should be good. Anybody out there in the audience?
Bob Wiseman says it's good here.
Okay, thanks,
So
Bob.
He's in Oxford.
Nice.
So
Cool. Thanks for the tip, Tom.
Probably Minerva Internet again.
It is probably Minerva Internet.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It is what it is.
the cow turning the thing flipped over.
Yeah, pretty
Somebody
much.
tipped it.
So if we're gonna practice for this and we're gonna train for this, it doesn't really matter whether you're using a firearm or whether you're using a non-lethal option. You're gonna have to get off the X. We've talked about practicing with your non-lethal options. We've talked about practicing with your lethal options, but you just can't stand there and wait for things to develop around you during your practice. Last week or the week before, we talked about freaking everybody out at the range and start challenging your targets. I mean, you're literally talking to cardboard. But what that's going to do is that's going to help you with a couple things. You're going to get attention drawn to whatever situation you're in. And if you look at it from an after action perspective, you're going to get eyes on that. Instead of when the police show up and they start interviewing potential witnesses, instead of the statement they're going to get, which is, hey, all we saw was, this guy started shooting, they're going to say, well, this dude started yelling, stop, or leave me alone, or something like that. And he was trying to get away from this other guy, and then he got pepper sprayed, or he got shot, or, a fight ensued, or something like that. So that's going to greatly help you out in the after action portion of that to get loud and obnoxious and challenge whoever is being the issue. And they don't even have to be attacking you or causing you problems. You might have run across the scene in a parking lot of a Walmart somewhere. I guess I can't say that brand name.
No.
But a big box store, and somebody's causing a ruckus out there. So what are you going to do? Hey, get loud, get informed, start hollering, somebody call 911, something like it. Get as many eyes on this thing as you can. That way, when the police end up showing up, you have more information to give them, and there's more people around you to corroborate this story, rather than you just telling them, hey, this guy did this, and 45 people that had their head buried in their smartphones at the bench out front only saw the end of it when it got in their face. So I think that's going to help you getting off the X, training, movement when you're training.
We're always trying to get that, telling everybody, and especially in defensive situations, time and distance is your friend. So, as you start getting away, X is where this is happening. So you start trying to, break away from that and get out of the situation, because, we're trying to, stop that, that deadly force situation, and trying to get out of it and get away from it and put ourselves into a better position. And
yeah.
I think by making a lot of noise and stuff, you're actually pretty much forcing people around you to notice what's going on. Where they, people nowadays are stuck on their phones or distracted most of the time. But if you force them to see what's going on, you might have help. You might not, but at least they saw something.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Maybe. So leading up to that, I think we're gonna check this video out. If I can get her to come up here. And this is by Local 10 News. This is actually the fish market shooting. And I think I'm going to mute this video because I don't particularly like the news talking to me while I'm doing this. But let's get rid of our mugs here. And we're going to play some of this. As you can see, they give us some kind of pre-action reports here. And we're going to move along in this video a little bit. Here's this couple shopping in the fish market, okay? And they call them by name here. They're pretty much just kind of hanging out, doing their thing in the fish market. They go outside of the fish market, and then right here, you can see this individual in the red shirt come up, and the unfortunate party right here in the center behind this black car, well, he's the victim of our crime. He's going to get blotted out here real quick. But as you can see, look at the stance on the girlfriend. What's she doing? She's talking on her cell phone. Zero situational awareness. Now, you gotta understand, criminals are going to attack from the blind side. They are professional criminals.
Predators.
They're professional predators. They're going to attack you from the blind side. So here's this guy over here walking down in front of the fish market. He doesn't even know what's about to happen. Here we go. He shoots. Look at this. So what I want you to notice is the victim goes down. Innocent dude, bystander. He looks, right? Had somebody had some situational awareness and started hollering when this dude was running, this guy would have been looking to begin with. So we're pretty much, the fight is over. The original fight is over, but the girlfriend's moved from the car door, and this is what I'm talking about by expiring cover. She's trying to go around the other side of the car, and watch what's going to happen. She pauses and thinks about it as the fight continues, and we got a local PD in the way here. Guy goes down, girlfriend goes around. She realizes, wait, this isn't going to work, but she pauses and then continues around the end of the car. And now here she goes. She comes around the front of this car, and the attacker's still busy dealing with his intended victim, but she comes around the corner of this car and then gives no thought to any additional cover whatsoever. I mean, I don't think she realizes the danger she's in, or that this guy's going to actually take shots at her. But here she comes right down the middle of the parking lot. This guy picks up and starts shooting at her. Right? There is trees, there's available cover in this area. There's a car here. She could have gone into the building again. And watching the surveillance video with the sound on, there's no yelling. You hear the gunshots, and that's pretty much the end of it. So
When through this entire time when he was back here, like after he shot that guy the first time, and I don't know, I don't know what severity the wound was. The first shot fired was, we'd say, they say roughly 80% of shots from a handgun are survivable. So it's a better chance, that's a lot better chance than nothing. If she had been armed and been, paying attention, when he went down, she could have drawn and
fired,
started shooting and engaging. That guy was the criminal there. He was completely involved with the other guy. He was kind of oblivious to her till she started kind of moving. She could have drawn and started firing, and probably got, she'd had even a decent level of proficiency. She could have got probably some decent hits on target. At least would have made him. Gary, if she'd have started shooting, he'd have stopped what he was doing. He'd have backed off, and he wouldn't have just pilled the guy to the ground and just kept shooting him.
According to the police report, I went back and read the police report. The perpetrator in this particular crime shot that guy 12 times.
Gee.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for the girlfriend. She absolutely was defenseless and obviously had zero thought. Nobody, took hold of her hand and said, you got to start thinking about, your own safety and your family's safety, long before you get in these situations. Neither one of them was looking around. This particular fish market is not in a neighborhood, as you can see, that is, a place where you can be really distracted. There's no, it's a bad situation all the way around. You're out in the middle of the parking lot. There's blind corners. I looked at the map. The building's in a crappy location. It's kind of like a strip mall type thing. So, it's just horrible to begin with, and it all goes back to prior planning. Before you ever get yourself in trouble, you have to look at some of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention. You gotta look around. You've gotta,
I'm assuming the victim was deceased.
Yes, the victim was deceased. the perpetrator in the crime took 3 shots at the girlfriend while she was running down the parking lot in a straight line, and he did not hit her. The according to the article in the news article, the victim and the girlfriend had not been seeing each other for very long, a few weeks at the most. So there wasn't a really solid relationship there, but still, that pretty much it ticks all the self-defense boxes. When somebody opens fire, there's like she didn't have to run.
Just draws a line down through all them boxes.
If she'd have went around the front of the other car from where she was on the front of the victim's car there, and just hit out behind that white car on the side,
maybe you wouldn't have seen her, but she would have had to exit
Right.
through that brush and trees, and then
Right.
had an even better shot at it also. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, think about this kind of stuff long before you get there, and develop a plan. Keep it fluid.
Yes.
There's all kinds of changing situations that can.
Yep.
So,
On swivel.
head on a swivel,
Absolutely.
always. All right. On to the news. We got some good stuff in the news this week. We got a Canton man accused of stabbing a man twice and slapping a woman. By Canton Rep. Once again, link is in the description for the video. Police say he stabbed a man twice and slapped a woman in the face. 62-year-old Northeast Canton man was behind bars this morning accused of twice stabbing a man. Melvin C. Garrett of 7th Street Northeast was arrested at 10 p.m. Thursday on the 2200 block of 7th on charges of felonious assault and assault, Stark County Jail records show. According to the jail records, he stabbed another man in the upper chest and in the left shoulder with a knife, causing severe lacerations and punctures, and slapped the woman in the face. The victim's condition and further details of the incident were not listed. Garrett remained behind bars on Friday, held in lieu of a $51,000 bond, pending a Canton Municipal Court hearing. So, once again, close to home, this kind of stuff does happen. And I would imagine this had got something to do with more than just this story is absolutely putting out in front of us.
I'm sure.
There's not a whole lot of information here, but judging from this article, some de-escalation tactics may have been in need here. Then we got a Tremont father afraid for his children's safety after security camera captures a man trying to break into his home. Cleveland19.com is where I got this one. You can go back and watch the video that shows a pretty good picture here. Tremont dad said he feared for his children's safety after his surveillance camera captured a man trying to break into his home in the middle of the night. The father wanted to keep his identity anonymous because he's afraid a man could come back. I don't really want to show my face because he might see me on the street, the father told us. You might want to retaliate. You never know what could happen. People out there are deranged.
Yeah.
The Tremont dad said around 2:30 a.m. Wednesday morning, his dog started barking, so he got out of bed to see what was going on. He said he didn't see anything, so he went back to bed, and then I checked my cameras in the morning because I seen footsteps in the back of the yard and noticed a man trying to get in my door. But I guess he was scared by the dog barking, he said. In the video, the man walks to the door, tries to open it a few times, but can't get in. Then he slowly shut the screen door. Father has 2 little boys, ages 4 and 2. I mean, like I said, I got 2 small kids. They're autistic. They're not going to scream for help. They're just going to think he's like the average person. So kudos for this fella for having security cameras.
And locking his doors.
Locking his doors. I would scold him for not being a little more curious. I understand it's the middle of the night, but generally if my dog barks like that in the middle of the night, I make sure I check 360 degrees on a house because normally the dog does not bark in the middle of the night.
Dog's normally sacked out.
Well, yeah, my dog's lazy, so he likes to sleep all night anyway. All right. We talked about some human trafficking stuff last week, and I do believe the week prior. We now have a preschool employee and a counselor among the group arrested in the Jackson Township child sex investigation sting. So
That's just scary.
it is scary. You need to do due diligence on anybody that you're going to leave your kids with. On Tuesday, Jackson Township Police Department announced more than a dozen arrests from a 4-day undercover child sex sting dubbed Operation Unsportsmanlike Conduct. According to police, 14 people who thought they were meeting up with a child for sex were arrested by Jackson Township Police and members of the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, Ohio State Highway Patrol, Stark County Sheriff's Office, and other local, state, and federal authorities. Police said the undercover investigators posed as boys and girls between the ages of 12 to 15 and conversed with adults who expressed interest in meeting a child to engage in sexual activity. The agents then set up a location to meet with adults who were then taken into custody. According to the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, arrested individuals face charges. The thing is, the police said agents use online chats and social media apps to have conversations with those individuals who were arrested. Every individual arrested during the operation believed they were going to a location to meet with a child. And this is the thing about these new apps. I know my daughter's got a bunch of those apps on them, and she gets kind of pissed when we go through her stuff. But this is the kind of crap that happens when you don't invade the kids' privacy in this day and age. I know when we were growing up, we didn't have to deal with this kind of stuff. We didn't have you more worried about making a phone call on the payphone, for Pete's sake.
Yeah.
So, make sure that you're keeping the kids away from this kind of stuff. Limit their app use. Put some parental controls on there, and do your due diligence on anything that you're going to leave your kids with. So now we got a good guy with a gun story. Lyft driver defends himself with a gun and may lose his job because of it. I got a hundo, says he doesn't really care at this point in time.
Yeah.
He's unemployed. Cape Coral, Florida. Driver for the rideshare company Lyft uses legally owned and carried firearm to defend himself when a passenger pulled a knife and began threatening him. According to WINK-TV, the driver didn't have to pull the trigger, but the fact that he had his gun may have saved his life. While the Lyft driver was driving around 1:10 a.m., the passenger retrieved a small black knife and began dictating where to drive. According to the Cape Coral Police Department arrest report, at the intersection of Chiquita Boulevard and El Dorado Parkway, Mormon banged the dashboard with a knife while waving it in a threatening manner. The driver told Mormon to exit the vehicle because he was in fear for his life. When Mormon did not listen, the victim pulled out the firearm and told Mormon once again to exit the vehicle. The arrest report states that Mormon complied with the victim and left the scene. I would bet he did. Lyft's policy is that drivers must be disarmed in their own cars while on the clock. Uber has the same policy. Lyft, Uber, nobody cares.
I like the reporter's name, just in case.
Yeah. Kudos to reporter just in case. We got to highlight that. Just in case.
You can't point stuff like that out to Jason live on TV.
For knowing the fact and asking nearby residents what they thought about the prospect of the driver losing his gig with Lyft for protecting himself with a gun. He says, you have to look at the situation, said Joanne and Bob Syverson, before you clamp down on exactly what the rule says or what the law says. Police detained Mormon, who was found with a black pocket knife in his jeans. The victim later identified the detained suspect for officers with a request to press charges. Right now, Mormon is at Lee County Jail with a trial date of February 10th. WINK News reached out to Lyft to see if the driver will face punishment for brandishing the gun to protect his life. So far, the rideshare company has not responded. This is the second armed citizen story out of Cape Coral, Florida in recent days that WINK TV has covered and covered well. The previous story featured a concealed carry holder who came to the aid of two strangers who were being attacked by a man who allegedly became enraged after they refused his advances. It's great to see the solid local reporting on these stories, especially since the national media will ignore them. In both cases, average Americans use firearms in public spaces to protect innocent lives. Yet, guys like Mike Bloomberg, who's spending his way up the polls, believe that this Lyft driver and Amir Rossi, the man who protected two women who needed help, should both have been disarmed. Those average Americans say Bloomberg just can't be trusted with a gun. In Bloomberg's America, the Lyft driver might not just be looking for a new job, he'd be looking at a hard time. Yeah.
He even said that about the guy who
In Texas.
in Texas.
Yes, he did. I think we
You know,
have an article
it was
about
okay,
that.
but only cops and military.
I love the names in this article. WINK is Wink TV. I mean, Wink TV with a reporter called Just In Case. I mean, I don't know. This is not a fake article. It just kind of works out like that. All right. So we'll get back at it here as soon as I stop laughing. Now, we've been covering this mess in New York and the joke in Virginia for a while. In New York, if you haven't been following this, they essentially let a bunch of criminals out of jail. And then they decided with this new thing here, we got this at Defensive Maven under the Blue Lives Matter tab. Witnesses against the MS-13 murdered after identity released to the defense. Well, if we scroll down this article here and take a look at this, a man who's scheduled to testify against MS-13 gang members was murdered outside his home because of New York's new criminal justice reforms that now require prosecutors to turn over witnesses' names 15 days ahead of trial. Now, I realize that the defense needs to be able to counter witnesses, but I don't think that the defense attorney should be allowed to give away the identifying information to the suspect of the crime so that they can then go and take care of the witnesses against them.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, you can watch TV and figure out what that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Although many people have focused on the failure of the new bail reform laws the state put into effect that are releasing violent and repeat offenders back onto the streets without bail, the changes in New York's discovery law have just as dire consequences. New York had been one of the 10 states that allowed prosecutors to withhold a witness's identity from the defense until the eve of the trial. But under new laws, key witnesses and evidence must be shared within 15 days of the suspect's arraignment. There are exceptions to the rule. A judge can shield witness identities with a protective order, but in the case of 36-year-old Wilmer Maldonado Rodriguez, Maldonado, yeah, I can't say that very well. The judge ordered his identity to be revealed December of 2019, according to New York Times. Rodriguez in October of 2018 intervened when he saw two boys being threatened by a member of MS-13. The gang members then proceeded to beat the Good Samaritan in the head with a bat and stab him repeatedly. Officials said that despite having almost lost his life for a good deed, Rodriguez was willing to testify against MS-13. But then Nassau County Court Judge Helen F. Gogarty ordered that his identity be given to the defense attorneys last month, effectively signing Rodriguez's death warrant. He was found beaten to death in his yard on Sunday, the New York Times reported. This is a bunch of garbage.
So they're allowed.
Oh, yeah, one.
They're allowed to the defense is allowed to go to the victim's residence and inspect the crime scene.
Yeah.
Which
Was like,
I would understand that the lawyers of the defense
Well, sure.
or a private
not-
investigator,
not the perpetrator.
but not the perpetrator. You can't have the perpetrator going there, or you can't just give the perpetrator their address and say, hey,
Right.
go over and
Yeah.
make sure that the witness can't testify against you. Exactly what's going to happen.
Yep. It's all about bail reform, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Bull crap.
Well, and you're touting on this between the bail reform and all this stuff up there. All the lawmakers in the state of New York are touting on how they're making the state safer
Yeah.
because they have lower numbers in prison when all they did was close prisons.
Well, I saw one just yesterday or today where of course they decriminalized retail theft in California, and now they're surprised that retail theft went up. Imagine that.
Yeah, if you're allowed to steal stuff, people are going to steal stuff. I mean, so this is a goofy law, and I think this is a thumb in the eye of anti-gun politicians. This Missouri lawmaker introduced a bill to make AR-15 ownership mandatory. Well, it's kind of a misleading headline to begin with. If you scroll down and check out the article, we got this on the Truth About Guns. The thing is, Missouri politicians have long tried to outdo each other over pro-gun legislation. The latest bill may be impossible to top, a law mandating that every Missouri resident age 18 to 35 purchase an AR-15 style rifle. I don't think it really says that it's mandated. No, this isn't a joke. So, introduced last month, State Representative Andrew McDaniel, the bill titled the McDaniel Militia Act would create a state tax credit capped at $1 million annually to function as an incentive for residents not yet strapped with big government's preferred big gun, the AR-15. Purchasers could then claim the tax credit on up to 75% of the gun's cost. The bill's text states any person who qualifies as a resident on August 28, 2019 and does not own an AR shall have 1 year to purchase an AR. Every resident in the state shall own at least one AR-15, emphasis added. Not even McDaniel's only bill aiming to arm the masses. 2 days before introducing the Militia Act, the Boot Heel area representative introduced the McDaniel Second Amendment Act, which requires every person 21 years of age or older who can legally possess a firearm to own a handgun. So this article goes on to, talk about felons and different things like that. As pro-gun as we are, I view these stunts just as big of a waste of time as people who introduce legislation to ban all kinds of guns in a state that isn't going to happen. There are people out there who they may not want an AR-15 for whatever reason. They may not want to own a handgun for whatever reason. I've met several hundred people actually, who are really pro-gun, and they don't own any guns for whatever reason. Maybe it's not their thing. Maybe it's not their sport. Maybe it's just not something they feel that they're comfortable. We see people in classes all the time. They get done with a advanced class, or they get done with a law class or something like that, and they go, you know what? I'm the type of person that I probably won't follow the rules, so I'm not going to do this. Okay, that is just as much of an infringement on your freedom as trying to take them away. That's what it's all about. It's about the freedom. It's not about being told by the government what you are required to do.
Goes right back the other way to socialism.
Yeah, I mean,
Years ago, when I realized I started having problems battling with suicidal thoughts, I sold every one of my pistols right away. The only thing I kept was a crossbow for hunting and a shotgun for hunting.
And absolutely,
I still haven't gone back and purchased anything yet, even though I know I'm better. I'm going to give myself some time before I can trust myself again.
Yeah, well,
Sure.
absolutely. There's a great example.
Great example, right?
Somebody who's responsible enough to go, you know what, this isn't good for me right now.
I was
And
on so many medications at the time that at one point I was taking Ambien and sheriffs had knocked at my door and I had gone down carrying my pistol, opened the door on the sheriff's with my pistol. So
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a sobering moment when, hey, I'm on too many medications to even handle a weapon
Sure.
at this time.
right.
Not
And
bad.
Yeah.
and there's another good point that Tom brings up. That you might be on a prescription drug that it literally changes your mental state, and you may need that. So there's a passing a law saying that, okay, now we're going to force you to do something. That's just as big of an infringement on your freedoms in the good old US of A as passing a law that says you're not allowed to have this.
So you're going to force somebody that is not mentally stable enough to actually have a gun and or a weapon and then you're going to have more problems than if they didn't have it at all. So
Sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, I have to pop off here. My phone's showing like 10% battery.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Sure.
Hey, anytime.
Absolutely.
Save22.vet's our link. I'm sure he's going to put it up in the comments, or Save 22 Veterans on Facebook.
Yep.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Sure. Have a good night.
Thanks for stopping by.
Good evening.
You too.
See you later.
Tom from Save 22. Good dude right there.
Yes, he is.
Get on with our news here. Mr. Bloomberg in the news again. This guy pretty much owns the news, if you're
Yeah.
not aware of that.
Literally.
It's the job of law enforcement to have guns and to decide when to shoot, not the average citizen. After the West Freeway church shooting near Fort Worth, where a concealed handgun permit holder stopped a mass public shooting, Michael Bloomberg warned that the average citizen shouldn't be carrying guns. It may be true that someone in the congregation had his own gun and killed the person who murdered 2 other people, but it's the job of law enforcement to have guns and decide when to shoot. Just do not want the average citizen carrying a gun in a crowded place. In recent years, civilians have stopped dozens of such attacks in churches, businesses, movie theaters, restaurants, and malls. The only exceptional aspect of the West Freeway case was that the permit holder's actions actually garnered some national attention. Unlike the vast majority of these heroic acts, none of these problems that Bloomberg seems to fear, permit holders, shooting bystanders, or being shot by arriving police, occurred in any of those cases. Yeah, this guy's a numbnuts. He really
Yeah.
is.
He really is. And
How many times we just had a
he
Lyft
wants
driver.
to be king.
We just had a Lyft driver that used his firearm without firing a shot, mind you, to defend himself against a knife wielding attacker. I mean, there's all kinds of studies out there, and I don't know how many times that people will use a firearm, never fire a shot, and successfully defend themselves with this particular tool. And it's redundant to me that they can't quite understand that. But the thing is, they're surrounded by a security force that has guns. I mean, they're literally surrounded by a security force.
Yep. That's okay. You know.
You know, everything they keep saying is you know, they only want trained individuals or police officers or this or that, which I agree with. If you're going to have a gun, you're going to carry it, you should train. But I don't think you have to have a badge.
No, I think
carry. But another thing is with or without the badge, people will be highly surprised at how little training it takes to be allowed to carry that gun. I mean,
oh yeah, the armed security courses. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was a good time, but I mean, it's not anything that we don't do weekly, you know.
I know, right?
Yeah, and it was, our training is so far beyond that it's just scary to think that there are people out there with an armed security that go to work every day and,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean,
Well, the ones
there's
that
some good
the
ones
ones
out
that
there.
struggled
Yeah, there's good ones.
that like really struggled, you know, because we heard some stories when we were taking the classes. Some of the ones that struggled to pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scares me a little.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, there's good folks out there with armed security licenses
Sure.
that work their butt off and they do it right. But the requirements are pretty meager to say the least.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do what do we got here? You know what?
Product of the week.
I'm getting ahead of myself here. Put our mugs back up. We're gonna do a product of the week.
Oh, yeah.
What do we got here?
We got a couple range
Ammo.
bags. We got ammo. We got ammo.
We got
range
ammo.
bags.
Ammo goes in the range bag.
This is what we call, it's a Bulldog deluxe black range bag. This is a pretty good product. I've had one of these for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And
I've had mine
beat
for
the crap out of it.
probably 5.
And
Show
good
it off.
product. Got lots of space in it. My problem is I always keep putting stuff in different range bags, so I never know where it is.
Yeah, I had to quit doing that.
Yeah. Side pockets. It's got little mesh things here.
A bunch of bungee loops in there for
Right.
all kinds of crap. Pockets in here. Yeah, I've had mine for like 5
Double
years.
double sided,
Yeah.
same thing.
Bungee loops for magazines over here on this side, and one side, or both sides, maybe, I guess.
Mesh
And,
mesh thing in the
Yep.
end for like your first aid kit or whatever.
Right.
Another pocket in this end.
Pocket
What
on
else
this,
we got?
Pocket on that.
Pocket
end.
on that end. The
Got a long strap inside.
it's got a-
it's got a
inside
shoulder strap that goes
Yeah.
with it.
Well, it's got a
It's got a divider
divider.
in here. That's Velcro. I don't know if you folks can see that at home, but it's got a divider in here that's actually padded. So, like if you're going to store a pistol in there, Velcroed, adjustable. That's about how deep it is. So the depth of my hand was 8 inches or so.
Yeah, I think it's 8 by 16 or thereabouts.
Comes with a shoulder strap, metal clips on there. So that's how I ruined the last 2 range bags. They had plastic clips on them. I was carrying them. They were full of stuff, and they just broke. Everything hits
Those
them.
come in multiple colors too. My wife and daughter both have the pink camo.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, they do
right.
come in multiple colors.
Yep.
Get another model there.
When you
too,
can
huh?
stuff about
is an
20
Allen.
plus rifle mags in.
No,
one.
this is a Blackhawk. Sorry.
Blackhawk.
This is a Blackhawk sportster range, pistol range bag. This is actually
There's the pink
divided.
Bulldog.
Yeah. That yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's actually got a divider pocket. Divider's inside here. That you can put whatever you want in each side, pistol, whatever, ammunition. Kind of a nice feature.
That's what, a 3 pocket. It's got a
Yes.
pocket on either side of it. That's
Pocket
padded.
on either side of it. It's padded. No end pockets on this one. This has got padded pockets on the sides. So, like a lot of room in it. A little bit bigger inside for Velcro stuff, to
Yeah.
put things in it. But it's good quality. Blackhawk's always good quality. But does have a long shoulder strap with it.
Not quite as customizable as the.
Yeah, not quite as customizable, but still a good product. Everybody has different uses for the range bags and what they want to put in, etc. But I think either one of these are a good product. This one's like $36, about the same as that one. That one's
$43.
So, but you should always have a good range bag, quality range bag. They do wear out, much to our chagrin. But we drag them all over the place. They get thousands of miles on them a year.
Yeah, we wear range bags out like they're going out of style.
Especially NRA ones.
Yeah. Yeah, the free ones you get from the
I've
NRA.
got that NRA one that just keeps hanging on, man. You can see through it if you hold it up to light.
Yeah, mine too.
Oh, I got one like that too.
My free NRA range bag will actually drop spent casings like you're trying to leave a breadcrumb trail and get found. So yeah, it's starting to. One of them holes in the bottom of it's getting worn enough, so it's actually dropping casings as I keep finding them in the parking lot out here. So oops. All right, so new products. What do we got for new products? Let me pull this web page up here for you. Best gear from the 2020 SHOT Show.
Yeah, this was from Field and Stream. There's a whole list of stuff if you want to go down through here. The couple I thought was kind of neat was Winchester, their XPR Stealth. They kind of call it a truck gun, which is 16.5-inch barrel, threaded barrel. Comes in 9 short action calibers. It looks like they're going to offer it in that new PRC caliber, 6.5.
I see Federal's got a new 6.5 Creedmoor load here.
Yeah, the Terminal Ascent. Dog's got some new knives.
This must be an automatic.
Yeah, I think it is.
So Sog's got a new automatic coming out. 870 Express Trap. Corey's gonna have to buy one of those.
No, we'll shy away from it.
It's a pump gun.
I'm still holding out for the Mossberg.
Yeah. Traditions Nitro Fire and Federal Fire Stick. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
this is
the Nitro Fire muzzleloader. Pre-packaged powder. They're kind of like a shotgun slug with no primer in it. It's pre-packaged charge amounts.
Yeah.
You load your bullet in. You load your bullet in up on down through the barrel.
That takes all the fun.
Well, yeah, you load your bullet down. It sits on a shelf. You load that in the back. Put a primer in. They're kind of expensive. It'd be interesting to see if it takes off.
Probably work good for hunting. Keep everything dry.
They'll never approve that. Muzzleloader season. No.
Probably. That's the big one that we've been waiting on to see. I think they're supposed to hopefully go over some of that stuff here in March.
Colt Python. Colt's back into the snake gun game. I'm actually glad to see them coming back out with revolvers again. I as much as they kind of do some stupid stuff as a company, I'd really hate to see them go away.
Yeah, it's kind of a American icon. We've gone over this one a couple weeks
Ruger
ago.
57. Still trying to get our mitts on one of these. I'd like to shoot one and do a review on it, but ain't been able to get one so far. Grizzly 10mm 220 grain hard cast. Some new ammo from Grizzly. I bet those punch really hard in 10 mil.
Yeah. Bergara 22.
Yeah, Bergara 22. I'll bet it's accurate. I don't know if I'd want to pay the money for it, but
$1,150.
Yeah. I'll take one in 308 with 24-inch barrel. Berber Apparel
Rocky.
by Rocky. I don't like this Berber. I don't know, it just bugs me.
Yeah, you can just buy carpet and make your own.
We got Gerber armbar. That's a new multi-tool by Gerber. That actually looks pretty cool.
If they'd have put that, even if they would have been a small pair of pliers instead of scissors, I think I'd be more interested. I mean, I use pliers. It's nice to have scissors when you need them, like on the Leatherman, the little pair of scissors. But I use a pair of
knife too.
Yeah,
exactly.
But my wife uses the scissors more than she uses a plier, so she buys Leathermans for the scissors, and I buy them for the pliers.
Yeah, see, I think if you could get it with a pair of little pliers, that would be sweet.
Right? TC Compass 2 looks like they're finally catching up with the Savage Axis XPs.
Yeah.
With a adjustable trigger, I bet you.
Yeah. Kind of a decent bang for your buck. Yeah, $400, $405, big bang for your buck.
Barrel looks threaded.
Threaded
hunting
barrel.
rifle.
Turkey hooker. Hind end of a turkey.
Okay.
Oh, for displaying turkey Euro mounts.
Euro mounts.
Not a whole lot else to say about it, huh?
I mean, it's a hind end of a turkey. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I'm not a huge taxidermy fan. It's cool and all, but the AR-47 Gar and 475 Bishop. I never heard of 475 Bishop. We'll have to do a little research on that.
Well, yeah. AR-10.
5,500 foot-pounds of muzzle energy.
AR-10 platform.
Most powerful AR-10 available.
Whoa! 390 grain jacketed hollow point at 2,500 feet a second.
I think I'll pass on that. I got 12 gauge that takes my head off.
I might go for that.
$3
You might
grand.
go for that?
I might go for that.
$3
Yeah.
grand.
I like blowing my shoulder off.
Well, I can fix you up. You won't spend the
We
money.
don't really hear you whine about it the day after range day, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's load you up some shotgun
That's
shells.
cell link for spy point cameras.
Yeah, those actually, I hear
That's
they work
actually-
pretty well.
Turn any camera into a cell cam. That's actually kind of cool.
I wonder what the monthly bill is on that.
We went over this once.
277 Fury, this hybrid case design, stainless steel brass, and then copper jacketed bullet. 140 grain bullet at 3,000 feet per second. I'm actually kind of interested in this.
I'm
See how it
curious
goes.
on how if it's if it's reloadable.
I don't know.
Yeah, how do they keep the case?
Well,
I'm
it's,
wondering if
it's
what
locked
size
together
it-
with a mechanical lock in there, but Nate's right. If it's reloadable, I mean, I would go for that. If it's not reloadable, you're gonna friggin' go broke.
I don't know
Buying
as if you can
ammunition.
do any full length sizing on that
I
or
don't
anything.
know.
It's- Yeah, here's that Winchester XPR Stealth.
Well, that looks like a
Looks
is
a
that
lot
medium
like
bull.
Yeah, it's got a medium bull, good trigger, 6.5 Creedmoor, 350 Legend, 6.5 PRC,
Wow.
Kind of
6.5 pounds. Handy,
16
just
and
a
a half
handy
inch.
little rifle.
looks like the Ruger Ranches.
Yeah, kind of.
it's
Yeah.
kind of, but it's kind of neat. Winchester coming out.
Little
with
little
something.
more money. Well, of course, I think the Ruger Ranch, the MSRP is like that. Street price is normally a couple $100 lower than
Yeah,
that. Savage B Series Precision,
yeah, 22,
Um,
another 22.
another 22, and a lot of 22s coming out. Pelican cargo boxes. These are expensive, but they work really well, and they're tough. We use Pelican boxes at work, and
ship stuff all
Oh, yeah.
all over the country, all over the world in it. So
ballistic
I
silver
want to
tip
put a
and
few of those on the roof rack of the Jeep.
yeah,
I think it'd work good there.
yeah, it would work. 6.5 Creedmoor ballistic silver tip. This is pretty good ammo. I've shot some of that in 308, and it works pretty well. Decoy controller, cell phone app. Check that out. Got a Benelli. Benelli's first ever bolt action rifle. Comes with a 3-shot sub MOA guarantee. For $16.99, I would hope.
yeah. This was the one that I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, the
Browning
Brown-
Safe Builder.
That is pretty cool. What's it do?
It's an app for your phone. You can go through, you can build your safe, size it, what size safe you want. It gives you the price, all that stuff. What kind of options you kind of shop for safes, just sitting on in your living room, and then you go, well, I wonder if it'll fit here. I wonder how it'll look here, and you just kind of hold your phone up, and it uses your camera, and you just kind of places it in the picture of your your living room or your basement or wherever your wife will let you put this monstrosity of a safe. And you can maybe even talk her into it. Be like, see, babe, it doesn't look so bad right there in the corner.
I think
She can get an idea of what this thing's going to look like in the living room. And
There you go.
I think she's going to get the
Well,
idea of what it's going to look like in the living room and say no.
well, it might hurt you, might help you, but
They always wanted a bank vault in the living room.
I thought it was kind of a neat.
Once they deliver it, you bolt to the floor. It's not moving.
Yeah, well, this is
You can
true.
try.
All right, so you guys can check that article out, Field and Stream. Links in the description once again. So that's what we got for you. Run a little over time tonight. Once again, we'll put the link in the comments for the Safe 22 website. And Tom Endorf here tonight. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Am I saying his name correctly, Ryan?
Yeah, you're good. Yep.
Okay.
Tom Mendorf, we'd like to thank him for coming on too, and anybody that helps those guys out or wants to help them out, they're a good group of guys. I've known Tom for quite a while, and try to do stuff with him, and they're really helping out the veteran community, and they're worth checking out for sure.
Yeah, awesome. So that's what we got. Once again, guys, like, share with a couple friends. If you got something you want to see on the show, then let us know. Hit us in the comments. Hit us up on YouTube. Send us a message. Send us an email. Something like that. If you need to get signed up for classes, there's a link in the video description. If you know somebody who wants to come on for the business spotlight, and they run a small business, then tell them to hit us up. Send us an email. Send us a Facebook message, something like that. We'd like to thank everybody for spending their time with us tonight and watching our ruckus that we try and develop every Friday night. And you folks have a good and safe weekend. Once again, Sphons CCW Live Show brought to you by Sphons CCW, thisandthatdistribution.com, and the Minerva Sportsmans Club. So have a good weekend, guys.
See you guys.
Yeah.
See ya.